I have this deep conviction that my channel is going to do really well. I didn't even think I was allowed to have crushes on guys. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to make this YouTube video in response to reaching 500 subscribers. First of all, thank you so much. I asked you guys for questions for a Q&A. I was really scared when I asked it. I wasn't really sure if any questions were going to come up because it is a small channel and I was a little afraid that it would be just my mother and my sister asking me questions. But that did not happen and I am so grateful we got a couple of really great questions. And it makes me so excited that you guys are out there and you're listening and you asked me questions and the questions were so great. So thank you so much. This video is going to be a long one, just a disclaimer. So in that case, I might split it and do 2 or 3 sections. I have my iPad here and I've opened up the post. So the first question was by Minu8202 and the question was, what initiative sustained thoughts made you start a YouTube channel? And since psychiatrists are conveyed as a little stubborn by co-doctors, is that so, ma'am? Thank you, Minu, for this wonderful question. So my first experience with YouTube was when I was really young. It was when I was 16 to 18 years old and I had just finished my high school and joined MBBS. I ended up having really severe acne. What would happen is I had what I think we called it as nodular cystic acne. So my entire face had lesions and it also had really painful nodular and cystic lesions. Now, personally, I myself at the beginning was not too worried about it because, you hear that acne is something that teenagers go through and as we grow up, we'll grow out of them. But what started happening was possibly because it was so severe, anytime I left the house, I met new people, met even my friends, they began to ask me about this acne and it made me really self-conscious. I ended up being really upset and quite distressed by it. I stopped going out. As a student who was attending med school, I knew that acne was not life-threatening. I knew that it was not something that's going to impact me long-term. But for some reason, it had this effect on my well-being it really affected my quality of life. So my friends were really concerned, my parents were really concerned, and they were like, why don't you go out, live your life? But it always felt like they didn't understand what I was going through because in my mind, they didn't have this severe acne and nobody was asking them what happened to their face. Like, you guys won't believe the number of times a random person would come and ask me, like, if I washed my face twice a day, I should apply multani mitti on my face, I should apply garlic to my face, potato peel. I can put a list of all the things that have been suggested as treatment for my acne. And let me tell you, I tried everything. So I did the multani mitti thing, sandalwood paste, turmeric and besan, rice flour at one point. I used aloe vera gel, cucumbers, potato, onion, lemon juice, and this is just like the at-home remedy, right? So coming to prescriptive medications, I tried benzoyl peroxide, salicylic acid, isotretinoin, retinoic acid, antibiotic. So I had tried everything and nothing seemed to work. So in my mind, I was like, I'm going to do med school from home. I'll just go attend postings and come back. And then hopefully my friends will manage to give me proxies. Obviously, that's not sustainable and that's not something that's a good solution. So one day I was looking for solutions for this and I was searching on Google how to cover my acne or how to treat acne. And that's when I stumbled on to Cassandra Bankson, and from Cassandra Bankson, I stumbled on to Melanie Murphy. So this was the thing back then where a lot of YouTubers were speaking about their acne journey and how they had got it treated. But Cassandra had acne that was really severe. It was very similar to the kind of acne that I had. I don't know if that video is up there even today, but she put herself in a very vulnerable position and it was such a raw and beautiful video where she spoke about her struggles with acne, how she uses makeup to cover it, and she was also leading at this point a successful career in modeling while having severe acne. So that video was like a godsend to me. It felt like someone understood me and it felt like someone was going through the same thing that I was going through and I wasn't alone in my journey. The way that both Cassandra and Melanie spoke about their acne and their acne journey made me feel really supported and I no longer felt alone. By watching them cope with acne in a very positive manner, I was like, sure, I can also do this. So a thought that would constantly come to my mind was, people have tuberculosis, people have life-threatening illnesses, and they're suffering, and they're dying, and they're passing away, and their family is suffering. And why am I feeling so bad about a skin condition? And why is this affecting me so much? And so there was also like a lot of guilt associated with me feeling sad about my acne, if that makes sense. So just imagine someone all the way in US was helping me who's living in Mysore at the time, like all the way in India. And that to me indicated the power of this platform. In Cassandra's video, she says something about if her video could help one person, and that would be like, and that was her only intention of uploading. And that's something that I relate with, and that's something that is kind of like my core motto even today. So YouTube is just my favorite platform for this reason, because it genuinely transformed my life. After seeing these girls, I started going out. I learned about makeup, and that gave me a lot of confidence in showing up to different events. When people would ask me about my acne, I would model my responses based on like the educative videos that they did. That gave me a lot of confidence and like almost like a script to respond to people. After that, I think I started living life, and I like post a couple of pictures. I got really good at putting makeup. And like I would even like do all the makeup for the fashion shows in our MMC fashion show. And yeah, I think a few of my friends will vouch that my makeup skills were very good. Fast forward to today in 2023, I started YouTube primarily as like a creative outlet, because I felt like my job was great, but it didn't have like an opportunity to do things like with colors and feed my artistic self. There's just so many benefits to starting a YouTube channel. You might think of it, why is she celebrating at 500 subscribers? Like 500 is like micro, nano, mini channel. At the age of 31, where like majority of the influencers who are starting out are super young, I learned a completely new skill and started this channel. So it's been a huge boost to my self-confidence, because like for years and years, I had the self-doubt of whether I could do this. And surprisingly, after doing this and after like working on this creative side of myself, I'm able to show up much happier at my work. So this one funny thing that I keep telling my husband, and like he really doesn't believe me, but I have this deep conviction that my channel is going to do really well. I don't know where this is coming from, because if you know me as a person, you know that I'm not like the most confident human being. But with respect to my YouTube channel, somehow I'm able to show up with all this confidence. And to the extent that, I even like made a reel where I was like wondering if this is delusional. But I think the reason why I feel like my YouTube channel will definitely be successful is because my estimates of success, or what I view as success, is very different from what one typically would count as success on YouTube. So when I say I'm going to be a successful YouTube channel, I don't necessarily mean that I'm going to reach like 1 million subscribers, although like that would be great. The way I view success as is always going back to what like Cassandra Manson said in her video. If her video could help one person, and it did, like just imagine all the way across the world, this girl is sitting in Mysore, and her video, thanks to her video, she starts going out and living her life. I didn't even think I was allowed to have crushes on guys because of my acne. And like seeing her date someone, I was like, wow, like, and okay, so if she is lovable, does that mean that I'm also lovable? If there's one takeaway from this video, don't let self-doubt stop you from creating your own YouTube channel if that's something that interests you. That there's no right age to start a YouTube channel, and the way that you monitor success can be something that is determined by you. So go ahead, start that channel that you've been planning to, if that's your dream. Part 2 of this question is, are psychiatrists stubborn as other doctors perceive them to be? Honestly, my experience with this has been quite the opposite. So I've worked in JIPMER and I've worked here in Manipal. And in both the places, my colleagues have been really nice and really friendly. Also, like really kind generally. I don't know, this is a new one. So I've heard about psychiatrists being rude in the sense of like giving too much medications. I've heard about not really listening as much as how a psychologist would do. But you know what? I think it's possible. I think like, generally how in life people can be stubborn and people can be not stubborn. I feel like even among psychiatrists, there's likely to be good and bad psychiatrists, and there's likely to be stubborn and not stubborn psychiatrists. It really depends on who you have interacted with and your experience with that person. I'm not able to think of any one characteristic which would define all psychiatrists. I feel like they're just humans and they're like all different kinds of psychiatrists. If you're still here, then definitely subscribe. I always wanted to be a psychiatrist, and this was my childhood dream, and psychiatry was not my first option. It was a Saturday night when my NEET results came out.